Yep.
Is good, right? Call to order this Harbor Commission regular meeting, February 10th, 2021, at 6 p.m. Council meeting A and B. Roll call, please. Here. Alright, approval of the regular agenda. Motion to approve the agenda. Second. Motion has been made and seconded. Vote. Is anyone opposed to the approval of the regular agenda? Seeing none, unanimous consent. Approval of the minutes for January 13th, 2021. Regular meeting. Approved January 13th. Made and seconded. Any objections? Minutes are approved. Item number 3, communication by visitors.
Big one, 6.5 mile, is mayor. And I'm going to share an unvarnished perspective that I've accumulated over the last few years and having grown up in around harbors around the state. And it's nothing new to you guys. Our harbor's in tough shape. And at this point now, I've appointed all of you onto the Harbor Commission because I have a lot of confidence in, first of all, your users of the harbor. You're ready to have a heck of a lot more than I am. You know the needs and opportunities that we have there, and we have a lot of opportunities. But I've had more complaints over the last 5 years about the harbor than anything else in the city. Just the general condition of it, the workability of it, everything from having a hard time getting stall spaces to get in and out, and then just the physical condition of it. And there's some reasons for some of those things, but some of those things are also under our control. And you know, the facilities and services. For a fishing town our size, and the growth opportunities that we have and that we're experiencing, we really should have a harbor that's, we should have an excellent harbor. There's no reason that if there's one place that we invest in town, our infrastructure should be there. And not just for commercial fishing, but for recreational and local purposes, and for the opportunities for tourism and opportunities for commerce there. You know, growing up in and around Kenai, especially Homer and Seward, harbors were the core of those things, even when I was there and concrete relied on, whether it's restaurants, services, and so forth. So you've got support now. I mean, it is the #1 priority of the city council and has been for a couple of years. I'd say at this point now, with the governor putting the Tier 1 match funding directly into his budget, like Vinny and I have been asking him with the support of the council, I'm 99% sure we're going to get that money. And so beyond that, one of the reasons I wanted to be mayor is because I serve on an energy commission back in DC, and I get back there 3 times a year. And so I've met with Coast Guard High Command, DE High Command. I can't get within 100 yards of Senator Sullivan without running over and saying, when are you guys going to go on our harbor extensions? When I look back at the historical pictures, all the dock front space that we had at Orca Cannery or Orca Adventure Lodge, and some of the waterfront where Orca Cannery or Copper Seafoods is now, on out, we actually have more moorage in space than 50 years ago than we have now. And when I get down to Juneau, same thing, working with PND and looking at their brochures, all of the ports up and down southeast have had major infrastructure investments over the years. I met with Gilman and Associates several times, Southeast Conference. Manager said anybody in Southeast that's had a major port expansion has brought Gilman and Associates on board as their lobbyist back in DC to bring the opportunities to them and carry their projects through. So we've got a heck of an opportunity in front of us. And when you have the city and state investing $10 million in the opportunity for Shoreside Petroleum, Forest Service, others to make infrastructure investments and upgrades. You can package all into a match for a major federal renovation to tackle some of our problems like not enough mortgage install space. It's a shame that the tenders all have to anchor up offshore because they come and can't even get in the harbor. We don't even have three-phase power in the harbor for boats that want to. My first 10 years here at Cordova Electric, it was once a month, at least in the summer, some large vessel would want to come into they call ahead and say, hey, we got a three-phase shore tie. There's been times when I've been able to get grant funding along the way and brought them forward, and it just never happens. And the same with LED street lighting in the harbor and stuff. So not recently, but in past management and so forth. So we need to take advantage of those opportunities. It's really hard if we have Representative Students or Stevens or the Navy Admiral here. I just spoke with new Navy Admiral Barnett for our region to take them down, walk them around in the harbor, and they're like, "What the hell?" I mean, it just it's hard to get them excited about staging Coast Guard cutters here or looking at infrastructure replacements in Cordova. So that's basically it. I just I know that you guys have I don't read these packets because I don't use the harbor. I don't know what our needs are, but I can help you get what you want. But we have to work together and put ourselves in a position to do that. It's what the community expects, and really it's what we need for our path forward. Cordova is bucking all the trends. If you look at the February economic report for the state, we're the one community that has, and this is still continuing, growing population, growing economy, even though we had our bumps along the way. We've got some major infrastructure projects coming with street upgrades and other things, so we're going to have some economic activity. Uncruise wants to come here, and we just need to have accommodations. So think big. Don't think short on what we can do. The $40 or $50 million upgrade that can look out for the next 30, 40 years and really put us in a position to be what we can be. We have the infrastructure here to be a top 5 U.S. seafood port. All we need really is the winter fisheries, and frankly, we may get some accommodation on those. So between growing aquaculture and mariculture and some of the crab opportunities and some other fisheries, it would be a really different thing if we had winter seafood opportunities for our fleets and our processors. So we're in a good spot, so let's run with it. How's the time? You got a city manager and staff that are in grant writing mode. You've had a lot of ideas and thought around the harbor and sketched us some great ideas, so let's do it.
Thank you, Brent. Any other communication by visitors? Mark, you on the phone? Hold on a second, Mark. Okay. Not loud. Not loud. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
That's Mark.
Hey, Mark. Mark. Hold on. Guess you can't hear me.
Hang up.
No, for some reason we're not getting rid of the speakers here. Hold on a second, let's see if we can figure something out. Life, you know?
Hey, hey. There's this one. That phone go to the
Yeah.
I can almost
Yeah, just in case someone else can hear it. Maybe lose it off, I go for comment 11.
We're working on it, Mark.
Okay.
Yeah, try it.
How's that? Better?
That's better. Try again.
Is that good?
Talk. Do what you do.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. And so, Mark Protocol Shoreside Pavilion, I just wanted to, I don't think we're circumventing, returning this to the Harbor Commission. We want to be able to make sure that the recommendation going forward is not to come through, but to allow some additional flexibility if we were to open up and we were able to put a little bit up in the harbor for the harbor expansion plan. Unfortunately, you guys know that there's not a lot of options for what to do within the harbor, not just the logistics of what we have. What Shoreside is looking at is an area roughly that would include the Forest Service office, tanks being located underground somewhere across the street, preferably in the parking lot across the street. So that's what we've done in the past. Projects that we've done that allow us to use a fuel truck to dump fuel in the tank and to have an operation for the fuel. So I think the biggest thing that I can say is we can work together with the Forest Service to try to find an adequate location for everyone. But my request is that we don't Forest Service that allows the opportunity. And I'll be here if anybody has any questions, if you want to ask anything, what we've done at other locations.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Any more communications by visitors? None. Moving on to the Harbor Master's report.
All right. Got a written report there. We've already started in collecting and delivering used oil. 625 gallons to the high school. Let's see. Stormwater report, annual report to ADEC. Let's see what else. I don't know about. We did get our sweeper. We talked about the dock sweeper, the 36-inch. So actually tried it out yesterday. It's been a fair to handle. But I think once we get used to it, finesse it a little bit, try it out, bring it on the other side, see what we can slime off the docks over there, see how that works out. So, well, we haven't brought it over there yet. We got out of the crate yesterday and just ran it around quickly over in the office and stuff. So.
Get it sweet.
Oh yeah, it's sweet. Yeah. That sweeper when it's touching the ground, it wants to go or back at you when you let out the power top, drive.
Walk behind.
Yeah. Yeah. So. We'll see how it works. I'm gonna clean up the docks and maybe keep the slime off the other side too. So other places say it works. We'll give it a shot. It works out well for us. We'll have another one. Let's see. We have new end brackets and pile hoops, so we can start doing some work on the bigger docks, getting those work done. Let's see. Tank used to welding to a new Evo tank. Brought the baler. Welding alongside is where we take boiling water, separate it. That tank is an old original tank from the 80s, so it'll be. So they're going to build this one rectangular so it doesn't have to be so high up in the air too. So. Let's see. Alpine Diesel, I had a meeting with them a week and a half ago or so.
they ordered all the materials to build the ladders for the ocean dock on the ocean face, replace them. So get that replaced for this year, get them all taken care of. So. And let's see. Shipyard restrooms, they got all the stainless steel toilets and sinks in, all no-touch items. And then we're going to switch over. They put a regular hot water heater in there, 10 or 20 gallon tank. We're going to go to an on-demand. Takes up less room in there, and no need to have that thing trying to keep hot water hot. OSHA training, bloodborne pathogens and HAZCOM communication. The device in the shop. They ordered a new set of travel slings. We cut one last time we did vote. And then on the second page is the grant progress. Working on Curtis, Sam, and myself. I also just got a call from Army Corps engineers today. It's the first time they've returned a phone call ever. So we can get permitting to do piles on the Tuesday stuff. The piles and stuff. So we can do it under a nationwide permit for maintenance. It should be a lot easier, so it should be pretty quick to get that done. So I'll get working on that.
We added the pilings that are missing over at the handicraft dock. Just maintenance.
That part's not included as maintenance, so there isn't any.
It's almost the same.
There's not any that are missing or got broken.
They are. Yes. The stubs are there.
Oh yeah, but that's. I know what you're
They're
talking
missing
about.
or got broken.
I'll see.
Maintenance.
I'll look into it. Okay. But yeah. So. But yeah, there's been a lot of work. Sam, Curtis, myself, just talking to a lot of people, trying to figure out the way through it. Trying to get deeper permitting and all of the sea life permitting and all that is going to take some time and a good chunk of money to get all that done. But we're working towards that, and that should help us a lot on the build grant and other grants that show that we're actually moving forward. The build grant debrief is that's where we were lacking, at least moving forward with permitting. But they see that we're actually got someone hired, contracted, working on that. We just a lot closer. Don't get out there. So. Any questions on that?
I was just kind of curious what they were talking about on the unrealistic cost.
The one that we had in the build grant, they just the multiplier in it. They have it's weird that I don't know much about it, but they didn't agree that number jived with the amount of product or whatever the harbor, I should say product. The fishermen that use it in the investment into the harbor that would produce that kind of money in the city or anything else. They have some kind of multiplier of 3.5 or whatever. They felt it was unrealistic. Talking to a couple of people that we talked to, consultants, they didn't think it was unrealistic. It's just that they thought the explanation was good enough. So,
If we're going to use that, how are we going to back it up?
right, we got to back it better. We got to have a better explanation of why that's 3.5, whatever that number is.
So we're going to just go back through that and try to explain.
Yeah, that's why we're gonna actually hire a professional that does stuff for them. So, yep.
Any other questions for Tony on the harbor master's report?
Anyone else?
No, I mean, I'm just glad to see you guys are pursuing these other grant avenues. I've sent you a lot of ideas the last month or so. I see a couple of them on here, so I'm going to see all of them. Yeah, you knew about it before I messaged you.
Yeah. There was the PIDP one you said.
Yeah.
We didn't think at first that whether we qualified or not because it gets right into Port Authority. It's like the first thing it says is got to be a Port Authority. We said, well, I don't think we are, but let's follow that. And follow Robert Bouchard, which is the guy that's in charge of it. We had a discussion with him, and he said, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's like $200 million a year. did you mentioned that you checked into that one shipyard grant?
Yeah.
Just for private shipyards.
Yeah, you gotta, private, or if I remember right, at least you have to hire, you have to have, if you're not private, I can't remember exactly, so. You have to have so many employees that actually work in the shipyard, building boats and stuff like that. But it was more leaning to the private business, the private shipyard. When I was at the expo, we sat for a conference down on that.
Have you done any estimate about those money?
City manager looked into some of that. The way I understand it is that it wasn't gonna be something that would be for us. So I haven't gotten back with her, that was her first take on it, so we're gonna look at everything.
I know on their website, they have a ask, they're asking for, submit your proposals
Right.
for science.
Right.
But then they also have a little blurb in the bottom of the page that says, we will accept a proposal for anything at any time, and we'll review it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, just ask, send it to them, of course I can say no or no.
Yeah. We did look at that, Helen did send me a thing on like the scientific or clean water kind of side of things. It has some stuff already, which I do have some ideas on, these buckets that run on trash out of the water and everything to collect them, those kind of things.
Yeah, what about pulling, create some island now?
That, Sam has actually got a loan through, Clean Water Act. That we're looking at. So, yeah, that's where that would come from, is on that one, so. And then there would be a subsidy on that one too, if I remember right. I don't know what that is, but if you take $1 million, they might, kind of like the refuse department. So, they don't tell you what that number is up front.
When you're doing these grant applications, are you showing them alternative form or are you showing them the other one?
Well, right now, what we're working on is just getting this here. We will be looking at if we're going for the big money, yes. Or we agreed on, yeah.
That's the one that had the sheet filing together.
Right.
So I just want to see us, I don't want to see us get approved for doing just the floating stuff, and then we would do it wants us from doing those other grants for the project, like the drag out dock and sheet.
Yeah.
We don't do it right now, but I still want us to pursue that as
Oh, yeah.
like the future goal for the harbor.
Yep.
Ultimately, I'd like to see expansion.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I understand that, but yeah, as like, we started working on the tier 1, which is
Or it's the expansion, 22 acres on the plan. So is that the one you're gonna put into the PNP?
I don't know yet. We're still getting into how much money we can even go, because they do have a limit on that to an extent that, I can't remember that reason, that there's a $10 million limit. And, so I can't remember, and I'm just kind of lost it. There's other involved if you get into anything higher than that. But if we could get like 3 different ones, we'd be good.
Yeah. Is that one that would be qualified for a Corps of Engineers, like how he's got?
What do you mean the?
Corps of Engineers grant, like how he's got?
Yeah, well, I don't know how that falls into place. I'm trying to get a hold of them on that one. They don't do grants. Breakwater moving. The way I understood it is that you gotta have the money to do the big project that goes within that.
So the city of Valdez paid for the harbor, but the Corps of Engineers came in, dug with the breakwater and then dredged the harbor, so they were ready to proceed. So
The Corps gave them $18 million to do that basin. The city put in, total project, from what I understand, was like $82 million.
so possibly that could have potential for us with breakwater.
Yeah, if we had a project that we know we could, shovel ready or whatever, we had money somewhere. Valdez, of course, has more money than we do. They could have, when I understand how they're at.
Could we somehow leverage this build grant, or not build grant, the tier 1 grant in our bond in the savings account that we have built up. It wasn't much, but can we somehow leverage that with the core and get regular expansion?